Okay, so this is the third example, and this is an example that we'll probably see in Schoology. So it's a little bit different because it's a proof. So the question reads, or the directions are, solve the linear system of equations using the substitution property of equality. Fill in the blanks with the correct equation or justification. So you can see some of them are blank, and then some of the lines already have. So we've kind of got to use what's before and what's after to figure out what's going in the middle. So you can see we've got the first two equations given to us. We got y equals negative 7x plus 4, and we've got 4x minus 1y equals negative 26. The reason we have those is they're given to us. So what's the first step that we're going to do? Remember, we're going to substitute the expression of the solved variable. So you can see in the two equations that the variable that's solved for is the y in the first equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the expression that it equals, negative 7x plus 4, and for y in the second equation. So when I do that, the equation that we are typing in is 4x minus 1, where the y is, we're typing in negative 7x plus 4 equals negative 26. Why can we rewrite the equation like this? The substitution property of equality. And I'm abbreviating the justification. The answer will not accept the abbreviated form. So now from the equation we just typed into the one below it, what did they do? They showed us that they distributed. And you can see that here. We got a negative times a negative became a positive. And we got a negative 1 times a positive 4 became a negative 4. And they described what they did. So now we're having to rewrite this equation below. Classic. And the justification is simplify. So what can we simplify? Well, we can't simplify negative 26. But you can see here we've got 4x and 7x. These are like terms that we can simplify. So if we simplified the like terms, we'd have 11x minus 4 equals negative 26. And now we're given the equation below this. You can see we've got two blanks that we need to fill in. So there's this 4 and this 4. So now they're starting to try to solve for the variable x. This is the second step, right? Simplify, now we're solving for x, so we're getting rid of this negative or this minus 4. To get rid of the minus 4, we know the inverse is add, so we're going to add 4 both sides. So we're typing in plus signs, and then we're going to justify this by saying, okay, the addition property of equality lets us add 4 to both sides. And then you can see that they simplified. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Negative 26 plus 4 is negative 22. And they gave the justification. And now we're going from 11x plus 0 just to 11x. And they want us to justify that. And remember, when we add 0, it's an identity. We don't have to write the 0 because of the additive identity. Now we're here at 11x minus 22. And what's new? Well, they're dividing both sides of the equal sign by 11. So because they're dividing to both sides, we know it's a property of equality. And because they're dividing, we know it's division property of equality. Again, I'm writing the abbreviated version of the justification for time purposes. So now we go from 11x divided by 11, negative 22 divided by 11 to 1x. So 11 divided by 11 is 1. They're telling us that we're simplifying, so we're just simplifying negative 22 divided by 11, which is negative 2. And then we're going from 1x equals negative 2 to x equals, well, we know that this blank right here is negative 2, but we've got to explain what's different here. Well, the difference is the 1. No longer do we see the 1 being multiplied to the x. So this is another identity when you have 1 that's being multiplied, and all of a sudden you don't see the 1 anymore. It's the multiplicative identity. Anytime you multiply 1 to something, it doesn't change its value. Sweet. Okay, so now we've completed step 2, and now you can see we're here at step 3. Substitute the value we solved for. So the value here that we solved for was negative 2 for x. So we're going to substitute that value in to find the rest of the system. Well, if x is negative 2, you can see here that they're going to put in the -2 for where the x is. So that's exactly what we're typing in this parenthesis. We're just typing in a -2 because they substituted. So why can we substitute? Again, we can substitute because of the substitution property of equality. And then they're telling us below that we're simplifying. So what do we have here to simplify? Well, we've got -7 times -2. We know that -7 times -2 is a positive 14 plus 4. And 14 plus 4 is 18. So we got y equals 18. And then it's saying solution as an ordered pair. What did we get for x? X equals -2. So that's the first value. Remember, coordinate points always come x, y, alphabetical order. And for y, we got 18. So our second value here is going to be 18. And we can close the parentheses.